We're about to get down and dirty. So give me 1 second so we can get this show on the road. Yep. Let's get ready to rumble. Got 1 more minute. 1 more minute and we going live. More, get your pencils. Bam, bam, bam. We about to get this show on the road. I hope everybody logged in.
You also got the tea already?
Oh no, I ain't got one. You yet? Oh, you know what? In my room, I got one. In my room. In my room. Just put some. You can put a little more and a little bit more water in there. Excuse me. Peace, Moors. I always like to give everybody about a 5-6 minutes to relax. Get your bearings in place. I'm going to give some little occult science today. To let you know that God and man is one. No matter how a person try to connotate it in religion, we're going to deal with the science. And when you understand that the science and the law synchronize and we are made in Allah's image. And then when I explain the laws, it's nothing to agree or disagree because truth has no size. And that's why I never debate anyone. Like I said, I'm not here for no one's religious, connotated, arbitrary explanation of anything. I don't have time for that. If you're studying more science, you should be way above that by now. We understand all the religion. We understand the essence. Those of us that understand this adept science, we understand the triple rows of the adapt chamber. We understand all that science, Moors. You know what I mean? We understand all that. So it's nothing to this when we dealing with science, Moors. It's nothing to this when we dealing with science. So Yabani, you said you got your books and your feds today, right? We got a couple more Moors to get their books and feds. I told y'all, man, once things start back up, we might have to push our meet and greet past July because, you know, I know a lot of people, situations, but it's all good. We're going to continue to do what we need to do because I'm telling you, man, we're going to do something amazing. We're going to do something amazing. We got over 10 new students, man. Man, I'm so, like when I show y'all the empresses, because a lot of people I don't show, when I show y'all the empresses, man, and the children that's under this auspices and under this teachings, man, I got a lot of single mothers that's like, there's no other person they will have teaching their children, especially the boys and the girls, what a noble is all about and what this science about, especially history and law and civics, where they can take these teachings to school and all that. You hook me up, Isis?
Yes.
Oh, it's in the microwave?
No.
Oh. Oh, it's cool. Yeah, on the stove, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But that's what this is all about, man. This more science is not about a whole bunch of brothers debating or talking a whole bunch of old stuff and what it is, this and who's this and who's that. Man, we pay homage to all those that was before us. And we keep it on, we keep it moving. We in the flesh. And if we debate, thank you. And if we stay stuck, is some tea in there? More tea? It ain't warm though, is it?
It's not warm.
That's cool. That's cool. But put me a little bit more honey in it too.
Okay.
But we're supposed to be teaching these teachings to our family, man. We use the internet as a tool, Moors. Not a tool to make ourselves look stupid and follow spookism. Just because a person all of a sudden put on a fez on, that don't make them some scholar. It takes scholarship to be a scholar, and in that arena to call yourself a scholar. And if you are more scholar, then you should, it's more than just what you think you learned in the temple, because that's just one level of understanding. Especially if you don't understand economics and history and building and agriculture. I mean, this is nation building as well. Everybody knows something. And so what I be asking my brothers and sisters, what you want to die with everything that you think you know in your brain? So I'm glad of our empresses, man, that they're allowing me to teach our children and we're eventually going to have our own schooling. That's what this is all about. That's what this is all about. I'm telling y'all, Moors, every Moor should be getting their fez, their turbans. Islam. Every Moor should be getting their fez and their turbans from us. I mean, this is what we should be doing, because everything goes to build our temple. Moors should want to help. That little package deal I put on the internet yesterday, only a couple, and that's what I be saying, it'd be other people. Every Moor should be getting it for your family and friends. Like, hey man, you don't have a fez? I'm gonna get you one. It's tax exempt. It's not just, you got to understand. That's why we're a real organization, religious and charitable. You got to understand what we are, man. Thank you. We should be getting the literature. We should be having everything. And that's what I'm telling Moors. I'm like, are you studying or what are you doing? Are you getting better? Do you know there's more science? It's perfecting yourself first and your family. You have no business trying to tell nobody what it is and what it's not. And you haven't perfected yourself and your family, your empress and your children, everybody in your household rocking with more science. You have no business. Your whole time and effort should be convincing your empress. How you got these Moors trying to tell other people about something and they empress don't even rock with what they talking about? And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth, Moors. Because I can go on down the line. And you got the business to talk about, to tell somebody else, another empress or some man or some women or some children, and your empress don't rock with it. Like there's some European, some Negro masonry. Talk to me, Moors. We're going to get into teaching. I mean, come on. This more science is more than just the internet, man. We use the internet as a tool, and I'm gonna use the analogy as our workman tools. That's like in our Moors Quran in chapter 5. We use the internet as a tool to network, and our network is our net worth. I mean, and that's what I'll be explaining to Moors. I'm not here just a for-profit organization. We have items. Every time Moors give donation, I say, Moors, we have literature, we have books. Everything is a tax-exempt receipt. We have hats. All the hats that I showed yesterday. And I'm saying, and other people are buying all our hats and things. And I'm doing things for others. I'm like, my own people should be supporting. I mean, we got all different colorways, and we're getting ready to have the compression shirts to match. And I said, you could get a hat for $47 and get 2 PDF of my books. But now I got a package deal. Go on my page. I got the package deal where you get a hat and all my PDF books. And then I got a package deal where you get a fez and all the PDF of my books. And it's tax exempt. You should have one. Why not? Why won't you support your brother and everything is tax exempt? Why not? Why not? You say you're a Moorish American. Why not? You know, why not? Why not we have this? I'm the Hakeem El Bey on Instagram. I'm the Hakeem El Bey. IBENA Hakeem El Bey. And I told y'all, man, next year, real soon, everything is going to be off YouTube and everything's going to be on our webpage and our temple and school page. And if Moors want to see lectures and teachings, you're going to have to give a small donation. A small donation of $10 to view the lectures is I don't think is bad. Just say if you came to our physical temple in Arizona and all we ask for is a $10 donation, that ain't bad. And you can get a copy and you can get a piece of literature for your donation. That's not bad. And so that's why we're setting this up, so I can show Moors we're doing something real. It's not just for me, it's for our family. And then when we start building on our land, I want us to have something for our family and our kids. We have the big temple out here in Arizona, and I show you how to have subordinate temples in your city, in your area. And I travel, and we build our structures in our communities, legally and lawfully. But every Moor should have these hats, man. This is not a for-profit thing that we're doing. Everything is non-profit. And you get a tax exempt. We see that at the end of the year because it's a donation to our organization. What we did, we created a product for donations. Yeah, I'm going to list them. I mean, that's what this is. I said, I just don't sell items. I said, well, Morris, when you get a hat from me, you get books. You're just not just going to look like you know something. Anybody that just want to dress up and act like they know something and really don't know nothing and then don't want to know nothing, to me, that's a fool and a perpetrator. And you got to step over a perpetrator. That's not Moorish. Moorish is wearing your identity, wearing your clothing, a covenant with your brother, studying the science with a true scholar, adept, a brother that did work in the community, that's organized. We're organized. So, and we got a couple different colorways of the hats. We got a couple different colorways of a hat. Go on my IG page, Ivan Hakeem El Bey, and look at the 2 packages. Everything is tax exempt. And then if you want to be a member and a student of our schooling, all you got to do is send me your email, and I'll send you a copy of our syllabus and our enrollment package. Because once we start back up, once I get the green light, we're going to start back up. We're going to continue to teaching on our YouTube page. I'm going to continue to blog brothers and sisters that's not members and students. I don't mean no disrespect to no one, because that's just like if I've been feeding you and I tell Morris, if you've been on my page 3 to 5 times and we can't have a conversation, and then you telling me it's not something you like, I got to delete you. Because evidently, if you hear more than 3 times, more than 5 times, it's something you like. So either you want to be a part of it or not. And that's my choice, because I'm building an organization. So, like I said, I have a book. It's called one of my books. I don't have the hard copy. I got it in my PDF. I have to print it when I go to my print press. But anyway, my first book is Healthy Eating and Living. And in that book, I have a lot of my workouts that I do. I have a lot of the herbs that I use for healing. And I got a lot of science in there with a lot of different herbs and a lot of different things I use for, just making sure you connected to the right source of nutrition and working out and doing all those things, not just one. It's a synchronicity of everything. When I say mind, body, and spirit must agree as one, it takes more than this one thing. My other book is the Sufism and the Triple Rows of the Adapt Chamber, featuring the Committed and Adapt Manual and the use of the carpenter tools. When I be telling Morris, I'll be laughing. I'm like, why don't you know this science? And why are you dissing science because you don't know it and your fake sheik don't know anything? When I talk about the Adapt Chamber, when I talk about the third paradise, and this had revealed its inner triplicity in announcing the formation of the 3 orders or degrees within itself. When we talk about the Fatimid order, when we talk about the Jerusalem order and the Paraclete order, I don't want to stay all into those. I'm not going to explain them. You need to get the book. And when I talk about the essence of the sacred path of Sufism and the mystics of Islam, and I show you how all the Europeans stole our science from Madame Blavatsky. She studied Sufism and the Coptic Christianity and the Druids, claiming to be a student of her master Serapis Bey. While in Cairo, Egypt, Madame Blavatsky met Jamal ad bin al-Afghani, a Muslim thinker. Come on, man, we know this. I don't want to even go all into the teachings and show you all the Europeans that give credit to our prophet. And a lot of this science they got, when I talk about Peter Lambert Wilson, when I talk about the sacred drift of Moorish Islam, y'all get that book from me too. It's called Sacred Drift by Peter Lambert Wilson. He was made aware of the Moorish science through the acquaintance with Rashid Bey, an Australian initiate of Islamic esotericism. Back in 1988, he had responded to an advertisement placed in a New Age magazine by Durrell Kitmit, Arabic for Adobe of Wisdom, an exclusive group also referred to as the Seekers of People of Truth. And I don't want to go all into it, but subsequently, they learned they were a part of a network of radical Gnostics formed around the master teacher, Rashid Bey. I'm telling you. And then in the book, it show you all the Europeans that connotated the science. And here I break things down for you about the 42 paths of the Moorish wisdom, When I break down the sacred grooves of the order of the Maku, Siddiq, the Kemetic Adapt Manual, and the use of our carpenter tools, which is in our Moorish Quran, chapter 5, the reconstruction or reconstructing the ancient and Moorish exalting Grand Ka, the Ka and Ba of Allah, where we must connect this science. This is our science. Don't let no goofball tell you that it's some European westernized science. It's not. The European to tell you where the science comes from. That's why they're only 32 and 33 degrees. The Assyrian metamorphian. When I show you all this, in the 7 salts, in the 7 seals, the Ka'aba of Allah. I don't want to stay too deep with this, but I just have to show y'all a little bit of what you're looking at. And then in here we're talking about the 7 Kemetic principles. Remember what I said, Kemetic, which the entire Hermetic philosophy is based on. See, everything is the Kemetic. We don't give no credit to no westernized thought process. Everything's come from the East, I promise you. And the 7 Kemetic principles, the principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender. Man, you must know how to operate that. You must know, or you just playing around. I got to show you all this. The as above, so below. As below, so above. What is that really meaning? You got to understand what that means instead of just what somebody just said, oh, well, what's above is below. Okay, well, what it's about? Activate it. You must activate it. The Moorish American's Light of Ali, the Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali Mysticism, the Egyptian Adapt Prophet and Angel. You know, when I give a lot of our science, when I give the lessons of divine love, when I give our Moorish Adapt Study Guide, the House of Ali, when I go through our Moorish mantras and our commands, this is a lot of stuff that I do on my own. You must do it. Know thyself spirit, know thyself soul, know thyself body. If Moors cannot demonstrate our will to control our lower selves through our conduct, controlling principle, through love, truth, peace, and freedom and justice, Moors, then how can a Moor command the spirits of the fire, earth, air, and river when I'm talking about that fear that they always want to talk about? See, as Moors and as adepts, we must become our higher self to demonstrate the force, which is the will of Allah made flesh. That's what a prophet and an angel is. Y'all know that. I'm telling you. And I don't want to stay all in it because you need the science. In chapter 7 of our Moorish Quran, a mantra and a command is not spoken as a normal speech, Moors, right? But it's vibrated from the deep depth of spirit. This is what this stuff we must do every day. Our Moors mantras and commands each belong to individual universal vibrations. And Moors, if you use it right, I promise you, with power, with authority and knowledge, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, faith, hope, and love, it will manifest anything. I promise you this. And this process, it disturbs the ethers and commanding the attention of the Elohim. That's why in chapter 1 of our Moorish Holy Quran states that wisdom speaks from out of the highest plane of the spirit life. And in here, I tell you all about our 5 a.m. till our 7 a.m., our Moorish American prayer. Y'all should know that. Our 12 p.m. and our 1 p.m. noon, midday, and our 7 p.m. and our 9 p.m. evening closing prayer. This is our Moorish ayats. That's why I understand what Moors be talking about. And also in here, I have our Moorish American Adapt prayer. All in here. Our Moorish protection prayer. Angels and their duties from chapter 1 of our Moorish Holy Quran. I got all that stuff broke down eloquently. When we talk about the thinking things, hear he now ye cherubim, archer, protector, and guide. Hear he now ye seraphim, sakmil, protector and guide. He hear now angels, our prophet noble Jew Ali. And then we go, that's the thinking things. And then the next thing is the manifest. Hear he now, O protoplas. Hear he now, O earth, Mikhail. Hear he now, O planet, Sakhuf. Hear he now, O tame beast, Bemiel, Heriel. Hear he now, O wild beast, Thuriel, Mithiel. And then we got the eternal. And then we got the powers. And then we got the physical. And when we speak upon that, those are the ethers that cause the powers to be. And thought of Elohim, of angels, man, or other thinking things directed the force. The time has come for us as Moors Muslims for us to begin the process of personal attainment through our mantras and our commandments. So how can a Moor talk about he's some sheikh and an adept and he's not giving you the keys? He a liar and a sin. And then we must understand our relaxation. Moors must learn how to induce a relaxed state. You must know how to do this. Clear everything out of your mind. And those are things that we do. Our meditation, our contemplation. Remember in our Quran, chapter 14, John the Harbinger fasted 7 days. And the meaning of the fast, John was listening to that still small voice, which is he was letting the true, excuse me, Morris. Excuse me. He was letting the true and Allah speak through him. You got to understand that. And when you do a fast like this, you eat before the sun up. And when the sun goes down, make sure the food is light, fruit and vegetables. But see, y'all doing things by other people telling you. And I'm telling you, I'm a walking fast. If you eat food of life, come on, man. Y'all got to understand what I'm saying. Chapter 18, Isa fasted for 3 days, right? And the meaning was dealing with our divine God powers and ascending degrees. We got to keep our mind pure, and we don't eat anything, but we drink water. And that's why our prophet said to keep your bodies clean with water. You got to understand the ayats and what our prophet was saying. We will start the 3-day fast on Thursday, midnight 11:30 p.m. until Saturday 11:30 p.m. And then read Act 2 of our divine constitution and bylaws. I'm telling you, man, all the stuff is here. In our Moorish Quran 11:20-24, the true and Allah breathed forth and stood 7 spirits. And that's what I'm gonna get in that. I'm gonna get in that the 7 seals. Listen to what I'm saying. You must synchronize the science if you're an adept. If you some sheik. You can't just say you some sheik and you don't know the science. You playing. In our Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 11, verse 24 and verse 20-24, the true and Allah breathed forth and stood 7 spirits before his face. Men called these ether planes the plane of protoplasm, earth, plant, beast, man, angel, and of cherubim. So according to chapter 1 Moors, earth, air, water, and fire are spirits, and so is angels. And the great God Allah gave man power over the angels to do man's bidding. I hope y'all know this science. Chapter 35, 20-22. Read that. Read that. Y'all got to know our closing prayer. Here go our talisman prayer. Listen to this closing prayer. All in the science that we have. May the benison of Allah be upon thee in thine always, as thou should strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thy acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of all men, women, and children. Let the truth be thy shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft. For behold, Moors, the key to salvation already rests within our own hands. And yes, Moors, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there is still the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah, may Buddha, may Confucius, whatever name you give him praise, may it preserve you. May it lengthen your age and give you everlasting peace. Our other book, Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. All training wheel science. Interpretation of the Divine Creed of Moorish Islam. That's why I said, Moors, go on my IG page, Ibn Hakim El Bay, and look at the package deals we have. This is an insert out of Peter Lambert Wilson's The Sacred Drift. When I tell you, I got so many books by Europeans that wrote about our prophet. from Peter Moon to Peter Lambert Wilson. Man, I got so many people that wrote about our prophet Noble Drew Ali, man. Let me read the excerpt from y'all. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America, 1925, 4 years before his death, posing formally as prophet, Sharif, and Mason, because it's our science. Don't let nobody tell you no different. From who was Noble Drew Ali? By Isa al-Mahdi. The image, crumbling 1920s photograph of an American black man dressed in robe, sash, and fez, posing formally, right hand on breast, like Napoleon, labeled Prophet Noble Drew Ali, 1886-1929. To recover the meaning of this obscure and enigmatic portrait, we must rediscover Aya Asha Aya Moors. I will be what I will to be Moors. Aya Asha Aya. Isis, get my Aya Asha Aya books over there. Where did I put them bad boys there? See, when people be giving phrase, my old ones.
Oh, the old ones?
Yeah, I think they over there. See, when people give phrase, I'm gonna show you something. I love it when people give phrases. When I say more science is connecting God and man in one and understanding a higher science. And I'm gonna show y'all something. When I told y'all I come from many houses of thought. My mother and fathers are doctorals in divinity. So I'm gonna show y'all some higher science because the council just said Aya Asha Aya. So I'm gonna show y'all something. But let me finish. To recover the meaning of this obscure enigmatic portrait, we must rediscover a lost or secret portrait of our own history. Is it over there, Isis? Or it might be on the other side. You know, the old ones with my Manchurian man and all of them on there. So to recover the meaning of this obscure and enigmatic portrait, we must rediscover a lost or secret portrait of our own history. For American history is defined for us as much by its absence and disappearance, and it is official presence. Indeed, perhaps even more. You getting ready to go, right, Isis? And can you get my the charts out of there too before you leave for me? And they're sitting right here on the edge. Thank you. I don't mean to work you. So, in the room, in the where to wash at. So the official sources describe Noble Drew Ali as the founder of the first black Islamic sect in America. In truth, he was less than this. Listen, they ain't dissing him. What he's saying, for there were black Muslims here before him, like Abdul Hamid Solomon, like Deuce Muhammad, the black Hitler in Harlem. It's no disrespect. Our prophet was inspired by Moors. I'm telling you, the science is old. I'm gonna show y'all how when Abdul Hamid Solomon came to the States from Egypt, how he corrected them European Moors, showing them this our science. But he was also more than this. He was an American prophet. You hear what the Europeans saying? He was an American prophet. He could have stepped from the pages of Melville or Ishmael Reed, a thought of Allah clothed in the flesh, a fact, a poetic fact. Peter Lambert Wilson, Sacred Drift, Essays on the Margin of Islam, page 15. I don't want to stay in that, but I'm telling you, man. When I talk about our Moorish American prayer, when I be saying that's our map. Moors don't be getting my acronyms. Our Moorish American prayer, that's our map. It ain't over there, Isis? It's that other. Remember them two old books? The old Aya Asha Aya on the cover? If you can't find them, that's fine. I'll find them.
What color is it?
They the same color. They blue. Remember them two old little books? It's volume 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4.
Oh.
One of them is kind of falling apart. One of them is. Remember chapter 10? I'll find it. It's bigger than that. Chapter 10, page 16, ayat 17 and 18, the nations of earth see Allah from different points of view. I don't want to stay too far in it, but y'all got to have this science, man. You got to have this science, Moors. This is going to help you. And then we got one of our science books, the 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. You don't see it over there, Isis? I'll find it. But it's 2 books. It's like, oh, you're probably looking right over them, but don't worry about it. Hold on, let me help my cousin and let me finish this, y'all. Because, it's bigger than that. Hold on 1 second, Morris.
Sorry.
That's all right. Hold on.
That's what you have there?
It's big. And it's like old books. And it's like, you see, here they go, right here. And then came to give me those charts out of there. Yeah, you good, cuz? See, I know where everything at, y'all. And when you become a student and everything, when you have access, and when you become a student and everything, and you have access to my library, all donations and our kids be learning, and we build our nation legally and lawfully, and we have our Moorish American parades again, like we supposed to. Okay, so let me sit this right here. All right, 14 famous Asiatic scientists in history. I know everybody knew about Benjamin Banneker, but see, a lot of our kids don't know about Charles Drew. They don't know about Daniel Hale Williams, Ernest Everett Just, Emmett Chappell, and I don't want to go too far in it, but you need this. This is what we do for our babies, man. Black scholars who debunked the Eurocentric propaganda. When I got all our scholars that wrote the science about, what it is from scholarship, when you got them goofy Moors talk about a scholarship from some European. Man, the first colleges was in Salamanca and Timbuktu, created by us. I got our vegan snack book, and we got a vegan cookbook. And we also got a coloring book we made for the babies as well. Can you set it right up here, Isis, please? Your ride here yet? Oh. So, we ain't even got into teaching yet. We on good time, y'all. We teach it. And once class start, and once y'all be able to be students and members, we have systematic days for each different teaching. So I'm gonna show one of the council, one of the emperors. I don't know if it's an empress on there, or it's a noble, or it's a group of truth thinkers and seekers and Moors. But when you see that, y'all see that right here, right? See, this is that real Moor science. See, when Moors this is the connecting God and man. When you say Aya Asha Aya is I will be what I will to be. See, that's Aya Asha Aya. I will to be what? I will to be what I will to be. But do you understand the signs and the symbols? Do you understand that man made in the image of Elohim? Do you understand the science? And this is what I'll be telling Moors. The eternal Yahweh manifested within the cloud, symbolizing eternity. Malachi 5:2. But do you understand what that's saying? That's volume 1 and 2. And then we have volume 3 and 4. Then we have these ancient. I told y'all I have them. But see, if Moors want the science, it's what you're willing to pay for. And it's all a donation. You want this higher science. Negroes will go buy a whole bunch of tennis shoes and a whole bunch of fast food, and it don't be worth nothing. And I'm like, but you want the science. Just like the Book of Eli, the movie. If all the science was in the ancient wisdom, who's going to have it? Who's going to be able to replenish the world? I told y'all, when we understand who we are and when we understand the higher science, we operate as one, and we move mountains, and we come together, and we understand group economics, and we understand the religious laws. This is what I teach, man. You should want to be part of this science. You should want to have all these holy books. You should want this wisdom, man. You should want your children to be educated by your own brother. That's an adept. That's a scholar. You should want that. You should want your children and your kids and your family to be educated by your brother. You should be willing to be a member and a student to send donations in. Man, I got a whole storage unit of 15,000 ancient books and manuscripts. I got real degrees in the world and in the depth science and thought houses of wisdom. I don't come for no fake scholarship. I give you all examples. This all of them? Oh yeah, thank you, Isis. I want to show you all a couple charts, and then we're going to finish the teaching. These one of my big charts I teach from. I can't explain what it's all about right now because I got to get to the teaching. I mean, we teach, man. And all this stuff is elementary science that I'm showing you. That's all elementary. All that's elementary. Watch when I show you this chart, when it's man made in the image of Elohim. When you're looking at the most holy place, and a quarter roundabout. You see that? Y'all can see that? Man made in the image of who? Of Elohim. By what? By the pattern of the tabernacle. What tabernacle? The tabernacle built without hands, your body. And you talk about you dealing with your ancestors. I said, you ain't gonna connect yourself to the mothers and fathers of civilization. You got to be crazy. You ain't reading your Quran. I don't know what you're reading. But what you are, you still a Hebrew. What you mean when you are a Hebrew? Man, I keep telling y'all, Hebrew is just a religion. Y'all got to understand with the synchronicity. I don't diss anything. I told y'all, I deal with the science. I teach brothers that think they Hebrew Israelites. I teach the science. I don't come from no unbiased place. This is just connecting yourself to God and man. The Hebrew, and I told y'all, the Hebrew and the Moors, the 18th dynasty, the Ishmael, we all family. You got to understand this. I show y'all in the hieroglyphs of what this is all about. The most holy place. That's why I say this is a connected. This is a uniting of Asia. We don't let nobody get us caught up in that, in no religion and set tripping on each other. I'm telling you, man. Brothers, that's just like, see, when you dealing with them brothers that all they read is a Bible. And I'm like, you can't teach history, law, and civics to a person that's want to scream and yell religion. And then when I show them history, all that stuff they talk about the European, I'm like, the Europeans saying that when they was from the bondage of the Gentiles, that ain't got nothing to do with you. That ain't got nothing to do with you yelling with somebody. It ain't no picture in or no demonstration that Yahshua in Acts 24:5, this flesh and blood is a ringleader of the Nazarenes. It ain't nowhere in the Bible saying that Yahshua is no white man. That's that garbage y'all talking about. Remember I was telling y'all yesterday about the Louisiana Purchase and the ground plans, what they have in Louisiana? Look what y'all see up top. Y'all see south up top, don't you? North up at the bottom. And then I show you right in the maps. When I tell y'all on the real maps, Egypt and Jerusalem was right by each other. Let me show you. You got Jerusalem right here, and then you got Morocco right here. I probably can't, let me see if I can show y'all on my map. This is the stuff that they hide from our kids. Let me show you. Okay. You got Jerusalem right here. You see Jerusalem? Right there. That's Jerusalem. You got Morocco right there, about an hour distance. I'm telling you, man. You don't got to believe nothing I say. This is the ground plans for Louisiana Purchase. I'm telling you. With our Empress of the Washita. You know what I'm talking about. Tunic. Our Empress of the Washita Moors. Man, I'll tell you, we have everything. Our Prophet Noble Drew Ali didn't diss the biblical scriptures. He said, children, we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by blood. I'm telling you, Ruth the Moabitess. Don't y'all know Ruth, the Moabite, the Moor, the Moroccan, all that stuff. Look what they connected to. They Israelites. Look at the science. Read it in your biblical scripture. I gave y'all the text already. Read the biblical scripture. Stop letting people separate you. I give you the biblical scripture where it tells you that Ruth the Moabitess, Moab, Mohammedan, modern Moroccan, Moor, connected to the Israelites. I'm telling you, man. So y'all need to stop set tripping on each other. It's garbage. If we're gonna talk about who we are, it's one nationality, many cultures. Nobody's stripping you of your culture. What is our nationality? Moorish American. What is our race? Asiatic. What is our status? Free white. No one's stripping you from your culture. No one's stripping you from your culture or your native headdress. Our native headdress of our foremothers and forefathers is our fez and turban. Now, how you dress your fez and turban up, that's on you. And you don't let nobody tell you no damn different with that Negro garbage. Listen, if our national headdress of our foremothers and our forefathers is our fez and our turban, hey, you wear your feathers, whatever you want, on your fez, on your turban. We talk about you don't defile your fez. We ain't writing nothing on our fez. But if you want to wrap your turban style around your fez and wear your jewel on it and with your feather, well, if Allah command you to do that, you do that. You are more, and you represent your culture. Don't nobody strip you of your culture if you represent the feather. You got to be crazy. Just like the followers of Yahshua in the Bible. Research it. They wore their turbans with their jewels on it. They even wore the kufi. I'm telling y'all, man, you got to stop letting people separate you. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. So I'm going to give a little crash course on just some occult science. With these Moors, we talking about they some adepts. And then when I talk to science, they don't know what the hell I be talking about. Remember I said Moors, empresses, the white feds with the gold tassel represent you. The Europeans, the daughters of American Revolution, buried you in a shallow grave, just like they buried the so-called black Mason in the grave. This white fez with the gold tassel represents our Eastern Star, our Mayat, this 9 to the 9 to the 9th power. And the daughters of American Revolution buried our empresses in a shallow grave as well. Empresses, this is you. This represents you. Point blank. And if any more tell you any damn different, they a lie and a damn fool. Ain't no truth in them goofballs. This fez right here, these holes mean something. This navel cord, this umbilical cord, this mundane ball of tassels around it, these 360 strands, while it flows freely, all of it means something. My tassel, 18 inches, soon to be 24, all that means something. Don't let them goofballs tell you. The graduation cap and the fez, they synchronize. You can put the circle in the square. You must understand this science. So I'll just give a little intro of what we doing and then we done. But the 7 virtues and the 7 vices, the 14 springs, is pulling the morality of our human ego. Right? So what I'm saying is that the 7 seals is a metaphor of the occult tools. Just what occult tools? Just like our workman tools. I hope y'all following me. When it all synchronized, Moors. But our occult tools, we can aspire to develop, and as humans and as Moors, but also spiritual beings. And by absorbing that fear, that nature, that human nature, we have become masters at understanding how we work inside our minds. But also have we become adepts at hiding ourselves from truth. See, it's things that we must do. This is a practice. So I want to give y'all just a little crash course of this and I'm done. If y'all don't mind. So we got 4 planes of human existence. Do y'all know what they are? The 4 planes of human existence. Remember, 4 planes of human existence. And please stay in the context of what I'm talking about. Do Moors know what the 4 planes of the human existence? Do we know what those consist of? Islam, yes or no? Do we know what those consist of, Moors? Yes or no? This is a quick question. Well, if somebody is going to say yes or no, what I'll let y'all know is the 4 planes of human existence are mental, emotional, ethereal, and physical. But there are other planes of existence at the spiritual level, Moors. But right now, we want to stay in the context and stay in the goals of our practice is to become a master of our human dimensions. We must remember that. And the mental plane is the plane where we think. And many people think, but few are aware of the mental activity and its different processes. So to become aware of our mental plane, Moors, we have to study ourselves over and over and over So when they talk about man must pray continuously over and over and over, what you're doing is studying yourself. You ain't just, come on, man. That's what this is about. And there is a necessity to discover which mental patterns we perpetuate because of our social condition. And these conditioning patterns help us interrogate ourselves into society. But when we are not aware of them more, they prevent us from reaching our mental freedom or fulfilling our Akashic record. We got to get rid of that, man. I'm telling you. In the emotional plane, it resides desire, fear, anger. That's our lower self. It is the plane of attraction and repulsion. Remember, every plane has its polarity when we come down to that polarity mechanism. But it is the plane where we define our preferences, most of the time out of reflexes coming from our buried fear and anger. I hope y'all understand this. That's why we must pay attention to our decisions and our choices and be aware of what motivates our choices. Okay, have a good one. One motive is not always better than the other. You could be helping a person you think but crippling them. The goal here is to be aware and accept the feel emotions and not to judge their pertinence or their uses with senseless intellectualism. See, the eternal plane is the place of willpower, determination. Well, we work out every day, when we study every day. That's all a part of being Moorish, when we covenant with our brother. The activity and energy that we possess. This plane is a container of our bioelectricity, our life force. It is the level of the Oriental chi. My mother always talk about that chi, that positive and that negative chi. And how she always reorganizing things for her chi. See, this plane can be weak with laziness or strong with activity. And that's why I call them lazy Moors. Lazy. In order for the spiritual energies, for the higher planes to get down to the physical plane, the ethereal energy body must be active. You must be doing something. You can't just be sitting on your rusty dusty. And its channels must be kept clean. That's why we do our breathing exercises. When we run, I show you how to breathe, and our physical exercise to keep our energy body healthy. You got to know this. To become aware of this body, we must have to pay attention more to the little feelings of the flowing energies inside our limbs. When I talk about our blood, when I talk about cell salts, when I talk about food that we eat of life, you must understand this. When I talk about what baking sodas and what herbs I use in my teas, all this stuff, I just don't be blowing smoke up your rear end. This is the stuff I do. I understand my arcana and my concoction that I use for healing. If my body is a temple, how am I be able to do the work if I'm all weak and tired? You must understand what to put in you. I'm telling you, man, it's a synchronicity of everything. It ain't no damn magical pill. It's everything that we do, everything that I talk about. From our cell salts to our herbs, to eating right, to eating fruits and vegetables, to drinking a lot of water, to working out, to loving right. All that. It's all that. It's all that. It's not just one thing. More think, I'm going to drink some alkaline water and go eat a nasty burger and go eat some stupid ass Twinkies. That ain't it. It's everything, man. So when I be talking about things like cell salt and natural herbs and ginger and turmeric and spirulina and all that stuff I used and eat and work out every day and loving right and teaching this to my family, that's what this is all about. But the physical plane is the finality or the final creation. And it is also the place where we naturally learn. Since it is the plane where our senses are naturally active. In the physical world, everything takes place. This is the plane to be aware of, to pay attention to, because here are the manifested, all the signs, lessons, and dreams of our spirit, Moors. We give more chance to our evolution by keeping a good physical health. Don't y'all know that? That's why I tell more, health is wealth. It is not necessary to become an athlete. In the physical plane will be projected every problem found on the other plane of existence. That's why more should take the time to observe your physical body and your physical surroundings. Who you connected to? What energy is going off? Somebody is draining your animal instincts. You got people that drain your powers. It might be your empress. It might be your children. You got to recondition that thought process. You might need to sit down and be counseled from your brother, from love. I don't understand why us Moors do not want to do that. We don't want to be healed. We go to other people and I'm like, I'm licensed just like everybody else. What makes it better is I'm your brother and I'm a Moor. But to find out what you could resolve or make better, you don't want to. How can you say you a Moor? You talk about this is perfecting yourself and you don't want to perfect yourself. That don't make sense. Every problem, Moors, we find will rectify in the physical plane with awareness. It will also be rectified in other planes. I promise you, man. I promise you this. You must do this. Or y'all think I'll be putting all these videos out, we working out every day, doing all this just for the hell of it? I'm telling you, this is what we do. You must develop virtues in your heart and your mind. What? Habits, rituals, things that you do. Act with power and gentleness. Move and rectify our physical experience. And the spiritual worlds will open to us, revealing their powers and abilities for you, for me, for your children, for your family. Man, your empress will change. Your children will change. The first results will come quickly. Then you might be even tempted to use these new tools without virtue. And that might just let you manifest more lessons in your physical lesson and your physical plane. Don't y'all got to understand this is great to receive life? What you put into it? What you put into it, what you get out. That's why we talk about the Kabbalah or the Kaaba of Allah. See, the Kabbalah is the origin of the most, occult or the accordinal or that science and magical systems. And when I say magic, I ain't thinking about no hocus pocus. I'm talking about the science of understanding what's above and below. Understanding all the sciences. The science has been used by the Magi's and the wise men from thousands of years ago, Moors. And in this science, in this craft, the human being, the adapt, is considered to be a universal in itself. Here we go again with more science. God and man is one. How can you say you're perfecting yourself and you can connect yourself to the ethers, to the astrological signs? See, the Jewish people tried to cover this up. And then the so-called Christian occultists, they tried to use it. And this profound concept of the workings of the universe is applied to the macrocosmos, the big universe, and the microcosmos, the small universe of the human beings. See, that's what this Quran is all about. Knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. See, although anyone's interpretation is personal, to each his own path, Moors. But I want to raise one notice that we get a more authentic experience by respecting the original Hebrew text. In fact, Moors, the only way to get to the core of the Kabbalah is to ready and ready. You got to understand the original Hebrew text like a Kabbalist would, with the understanding of the traditional and the tradition. It is useful to start with the simple and mentally accessible tools that Kabbalah provides. Watch this, man. Watch this. Break this science down for you real fast. See, the tree of life is a graphical representation of the complete system of the Kabbalah. It represents the 10 planes of existence linked together by the 22 types of energies that exist in the universe And each of the 10 planes, Moors, of existence is a sphere called the what? The Sifwart, or the Sifrat, the Sephirot. And it contains all the experience and creative powers of the specific plane. And these 22 links between them took form in the shape of the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. Y'all know this, right? Don't let nobody tell you no lies. We're going to teach, man. That's what we do. Woo. For nobody can get you caught up in linguistic apartheid. Excuse me, Morris. Thank you for the donation, Moore. Oh, yep, it's Cash App, $KGB. Thank you for the donation. Woo. But the 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet gave birth, Moors, to the 22 major cards of the Tarot, to the astrological signs, to the names of the angels, Moors, and almost every occult science of the occulted. It has a link to the Kabbalah. Y'all should know this, Moors. I'm going to show y'all some stuff. See, the Kabbalah is a very rich science, Moors, that explains every aspect of the human existence in an intellectually understandable way. I'm telling you. See, this science is deep and mysterious, and it could lead you to break your mind if you are too much in a hurry. When Moors were talking about they want to get this, they want to get this. Man, you're going to die poor and broke. Learning must be accompanied with prayer and meditation. Learning must be accompanied with prayer and meditation. It means the heart is connected to the mind. If your heart is not pure, it's not going to happen. Because if your heart is pure, it's going to connect you to a teacher. And the teacher is going to get you there. And we come with the right way. If not, your heart ain't pure. So the more you understand the principles of the Kabbalah, the more your practices will become efficient. It is not necessary to learn Hebrew. When the more we talk about you got to learn a different language, I'll be like, what that got to do with your righteousness? If you know a different language, great. That ain't got nothing to do with righteousness. But it ain't necessary for you to learn Hebrew in order to become a good occultist. But it will help you if you at least learn the basics of the language, like the Hebrew alphabet. And all you got to do is get the Hebrew lexicon. If you don't have one, I'll PDF it to you. That's why I be laughing. All you need to learn anybody language is their lexicon. That's it. And the pentagram, remember from Eliseus Levi? Eliseus Levi? It's a good example of applied occult symbolic derived from Kabbalah. And all that stuff is more science. When a Baphomet is really written Kabbalistically, Temp Ho Abs Abba, the Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. Temp Hope Abs Abba. I did that lecture plenty of times. And every detail has its own importance and adds to its efficiency of the talisman. What is a talisman? We are. Remember I did our talisman prayer earlier? Or our talisman benediction? But the true powers come from understanding the meaning of the symbols that create the final design, Moors. And it is an inspiration for the virtue and wisdom. It renders its full efficiency when the occultist, when the adept has developed inside himself or herself and the virtues that the symbols represent. And when you talk about the Jewish Kabbalists, they will not endorse this modern version of the pentagram. And it has been an important part of the learning process for the new modern Kabbalah student. When I show y'all signs and symbols, when I show y'all signs and symbols, when I show you signs and symbols, Moors don't know what they be looking at. And I say all the signs and symbols belong to the Moors. I'm telling you, if you don't understand what you're looking at, this right here, this symbol is just so much powerful. Wait till y'all shirts come out. We got shirts coming out like this. Moors, y'all should understand this. Wait till you see our shirts and hats. When I said, man, we make our own gear. We do our own thing, man. Moors, y'all know what y'all looking at? Moors, do y'all? I don't think you know what you're looking at. That symbol right there is so powerful, Moors. Hold on. I need to take one more picture of this. My boy said he didn't get it. My buddy that's making our shirts and stuff. But anyway, the best way to learn the occult mysteries, Moors, is to practice daily. When I tell Moors, everything is done daily. We must do our rituals or our voodoo. We must meditate on the symbols. We must meditate on the lessons of life with our holy breath, with our holy heart, to become one, not with our mind. The goal of the theory is to fill our mind with the knowledge enough, yes, to connect with the higher realities of understanding. And by then, all the knowledge of the world will not replace the bliss of simply being in contact with the truth, Moors. When we talk about the tree of life, the Kabbalah theory is based on the diagram. It's marvelous and it's complex. Moors, remember, I tell you, I have a lot of holy books. In one of the so-called Jewish books, it's explained in a book called the Sefer Yetzirah, or the Sefer Yetzirah, Seferyetzirah. It's really the book of formation. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying. It's really the book of formation. It's a manual on the universal mechanisms. It explains how the light of the creation condensed itself to create the many aspects of the universe and the human being, Moors. And the Kabbalah is when we understand this science. When we talk about as above, so below, and as below, so above. It is our way of saying we are made the same way the universe is made. I hope y'all understand that. And the great light of the creation came from the absolute light without end, Moors, and poured down like water to fill in the 10 spheres of existence, just like jars. The water of the creation filled the first, then it overflowed in the second, then overflowed in the third, down to the 10th jar, the sphere. And these jars, these spheres are called the what? Sephirot, the Sephirot, Moors. And the channels used by the flowing light of creation, it linked the Sephirot together, and also it permits the flow from one to another, Moors. And there are 22 of these channels, Moors, and each represented by a letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Are y'all following me, man? See, in each of the Sephirots, God takes, or Allah takes, a shape and one of the infinite manifestations. Each Sephirot has a universal soul, an envelope of itself, Moors. In each Sephirot, a manager resides to lead its operations, and this manager is called an archangel. Y'all know that? See, in each Sephirot also live concepts and spiritual beings, Moors. And lastly, each Sephirot, it take on a physical shape, a body, a planetary shape. And therefore, Moors, each Sephirot has 5 distinct components. 1 equals the God form or the Allah form. 2 is the soul. 3 is the regent or the manager, Moors. 4 is the family of the spiritual beings. And 5, Moors, is the physical manifestation, Moors. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Y'all ain't listening to me. Arm, leg, leg, arm, head. That pentagram. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, man. And by learning about each aspect of the Sephirot and the 22 links between the Moors, we can invoke the spiritual energies of the universal mechanics to help us in our lives, assist our development, and resolve a lot of our everyday problems. You must covenant with a brother that can help us. And from this theory came all forms of the occult magic, the divination, the astrology, numerology, the tarot, and on and on. The 22 major cards of the tarot are in fact, Moors, the 22 channels of the Kabbalah. I promise you this. When I use my Orisha cards, I tell you, man, An adept, you must be initiated in all the science. I'm a shaman and adept, all that, a tasawwuf. We must go through all the initiations, man. You cannot say you're an adept if you don't know all science, history, and law, and occult science. You can't. I don't recommend you going through all those big, long rituals, because if the heart is not right, none of that's going to work. You got to learn about the complex forms of rituals if you learn and the practical Kabbalah on your own with an adept like myself. The basic diagram is the tree of life with its 10 sifrats, number and order of their creation. And they all have names in Hebrew, right? They will all have names in Hebrew that will be given in later in my teachings more. That's why you must be patient and become a student and a member. You can learn to understand its basic principles and start working with these. You got to understand the direct meaning of each Allah name or God name, each sphere, each region, the entities, the planet, to invoke all of this into your prayers. When I show y'all signs and symbols, you must understand this science, man. This is what we do. When I tell more, when we get the temple out here and I show y'all a lot of our spirit, of our Raja Yoga we do a lot of Raja yoga. The Raja Yoga, I do with my meditation bowls and everything, and we do a lot of spiritual stuff, and I get you into your higher self, and then we work out. But that's that pentagram. This is, all this stuff means something. Let me break a little bit down. See, when we talk about the pentagram, let me show you this symbol too as well. Let me show you that little symbol right there. You see that? You see that little symbol right there? I'll be telling y'all more. A lot of pictures when I show y'all, I can synchronize stuff. A lot of that stuff you're looking at is the same stuff, but you missing it. When we synchronize the teachings, a lot of us just missing it because we haven't been properly educated on science. But the pentagram is a 5 penta. It's a penta. The pentagram is a 5 penta. It's a P-E-N-T, a P-E-N-T-A. Oh, thank for the donation, Moore. Thank for the donation. Thank for the donation. Thank for the donation. Hey, look, one of my Moors was on here was like, hey, y'all gonna miss him when he's gone. Y'all think he playing. I'm on another thing. I got a couple of my Moors I deal with on another media. But like I told Moors, I'm courting y'all right now. And I'm only giving elementary wisdom. Moors don't give donations, and they've been on my page for a while. I don't written your name down. You're gonna look on here, you won't be able to find nothing about us, no more. And that's just how it is. But the pentagram is a 5 penta point image, the gram. That's why it's called the penta and the gram. The penta and the gram, made out of one contagious line. Just like the figure 8. It's one contagious line with 5 equal angles. It calls upon the force of the 5th sifra, the gubra, the strength and the concept of movement and action. Therefore, Moors, it is used in rituals to initiate the action of the operation, to call for a movement of energy. It is represented in your hand with 5 fingers, but most of all, it is represented in our body with your 5 extremities. What I'm talking about, arm, leg, arm, head. When you stand the YHWH up, represents man. 2 legs, 2 arms, and our head. 2 legs, 2 arms, and our head. The pentagram with 1 point pointing up and 2 pointing down in the symbol of the virtuous man. Using this symbol will encourage us to imitate the virtuous and expand our consciousness and our actions. See, the pentagram can also be reversed to symbolize the falling man or the decadent being. It has 2 points pointing up and only one pointing down. It is mostly used by unconscious and uninformed black magi's. I call them Negroes, and does not really promote expansion of consciousness. I'm telling y'all, man, I'm gonna show y'all signs and symbols. I want y'all to see stuff. I want y'all to see things before I explain them. You must understand, and I'm just giving you a crash course. I ain't even got in deep in it. That's why you need to become a student. But watch. Depending on the direction of the pentagram's energy flow. Just like when you thought the swastika Hitler, and I told y'all more, he got that from Africa and the Maxima. When you turn that up, that's 360 degrees. I could put the swastika, I could put the circle and the square, all in the same thing, and they all represent 360 degrees, just different parameter, point blank. But it is either summoning of banishing, inviting or pushing away. In the lower earth, banishing pentagram with ritual. And you're starting from the earth point, which is the lower left, and doing the clockwise movement to the top point, then to the lower right, to the left point, to the right point, and finishing at the beginning, at that left point. And this is somewhat a clockwise movement. And it banishes. See, it starts at the earth's point mores. So it banishes the lower dense energies. Are y'all listening to what I'm saying? See, demons and ghosts are usually afraid of this banishing pentagram. I'm telling you, man. See, they done kept you out of all your occult and Gnostic teachings, and they done act like it's spooky. Nah, man, this is all our science. So when we invoke that pentagram, that spirit, that air, that water, that earth, that fire, when we invoke that pentagram in our rituals, we must see it clearly in our mind, in our hippocampus, and put some energy into believing it is really there, Moors. See, that pentagram has to vibrate in the spiritual planes with your willpower. You got to be in the spiritual realm. If not, none of this is going to help you. And with the determination, with a determination, with a visualization, it also Moors must vibrate with the energy of this purpose. Your heart must be pure with the goal of your ritual. When used in a ritual, it is not only a physical drawing, Moors, but an astral tool to create energy movements. That's why you got to be careful in your experiments with the pentagram. Learn the basics with the lesser earth banishings, pentagram rituals. I teach all this. And the more we understand the meaning of the Kabbalistic words in these rituals, Moors, the more powerful will these affect, and the more virtuous we will become. When we talk about one of the 7 Kemetic principles, the law of attraction, what are you attracting? The more efficient, Moors, and quick these rituals will work. That's why you must develop yourself with study, virtue, faith. See, when I do my mantras, I got a lot of mantras I do. My hum, neem, hum, pots, hum, a lot of mantras I do. But life is the name of God vibrating, or Allah vibrating. I'm telling you, God or Allah, the absolute highest form of the great God Allah, is undefined, without name and shape. When I say Allah, I'm talking about myself. It cannot be known, understood, or spoken. It cannot be described, since it does not exist in a manifested form. All right? See, a Messiah and an angel and a prophet is clothed in the flesh. Y'all get that? But at no level of the creation, Moors, of the created universe. It is the creator. It is the absolute uncreated void and all null and complete. Excuse me, Moors. The mind can't grasp the concept. It can only accept that there is a concept. What's the concept? If there's a creation, it has to be a creator. You must grasp that concept. What concept? If there's a creation, it must be a creator. And we grasp on that concept and we let it go if you're an adept. I hope you are following that science. And that only faith can grasp that concept. And the names of God are the highest mass over the face of the absolute, undefined God. Calling the names of God. When we tap into the highest form of energy available to us, the absolute God flows through us or through our creation, and through the mask it holds over our creation or his creation, so we can see one side of him one at a time. By calling the name of Allah or God, we are summoning his most holy power to flow through us, permitting him to change us. That's why we got to understand and beware. The power of Allah is strong. The power of God is strong. That generator, that operator, that destroyer. And some might even feel sick and unstable after a call to the great God. That's why you got to go softly, only for a few minutes at a time. When you feel ready, you summon one name of God for 20 minutes. Then meditation, peacefully, trying to listen to the silent word of the great God. Through this, then the veil between you and the absolute infinite. With time, Moors, you will be able to chant one single name of God for an hour and feel its power flow through you. I promise you this. How I know? Because I've done it. I continue to do it. I teach it. You cannot diss the power of the great God Allah within. This power we should acquire is the power of discerning, the power of choice. Man, when I talk about this, y'all see them bumps that get on me? Man, every time I talk about the power of Allah and the power within, man, when I minister, this is for me, man. The power of judging, but with great care of the good and evil implicated in each of our choices. And this can be summoned by the name of the Lord of the earth, Adonai Ha-Aretz, or the name of the Lord of the kingdom, Adonai Melech. And this produces free will, and it frees us. See, then the power to live and be productive of the Almighty, the Shaddai El Hai, knowledge, balance, manifest the name of the gods of armies, Elohim, Tezaboth. I mean, we got to understand all these signs and names. Creativity, sensuality, love, feeling from the Lord of armies. When we talk about that Jehovah or that Tesadu or Yahweh Tesadu, wisdom, kingship, respect, advancement from the God of wisdom, Eloha, Vidath, power, martial, military, force from the God strong, Elohim, Gibor, peace, miscord, compassion, leadership from the God consciousness, the El, the highest plane, the law, the funeral, the life, and the death, immortality from God, the creator, Yahweh, movement of the universe, the mobile, behind the creation, from Ia or Ah, sit before the great God Allah, the original, and dive into an infinite, from Ia. That's what I'm giving y'all basic things. Before you chant any of these names of the great God, you must learn about the tree of life. You must understand the Kabbalistic science of the formation of the universe. That's why when I say when we chant the song of the tree of life, we start slowly. And I promise you, if you go too fast, your life will be torn apart by the powers of the change, the justice, and the karma. I'm telling you, just like when I do my singing bowls, if we go too fast, you won't get the right melody. You must find the rhythm and the vibration, and then it starts being in tune. I promise you. That's why when I tell Moors, the light is everywhere. And for the mystic and for the adapt, the light is the force within the elements. That's why we got to learn and develop the virtues and practice the breaths of the life force of the great God Allah within. and prepare our body and mind to receive the names. That's the power moving beyond the atoms and the binding atoms together to form the matter, the physical and the spiritual plane, the life forms, as well as the what? Those objects. That's why the light is everywhere. The light is everything. And contemplation of this thought will make your human mind available to feel the force beyond the matter mores. It will be essence of the life beyond fire, the creative organic laws beyond water mores, the harmony of the movement mores beyond air mores, the strength and the stability beyond the earth, beyond the particles that form physical matter. It's energy mores. And this energy came from the great God, and God gave it in shape. This is the act of the creation, the constructing and moving of matter, the assembling and changing of matter. This is the light mores, the heavenly and the earthly force working within the consumption of the elements that form all that there is mores. See, the light is a symbol only from the mind. It is an inspiration mores for the heart, a potential form of the will, and truth for the spirit mores. See, there is a truth higher than the light, with it the truth of being mores. So do not believe that the light is the highest, because the highest is the great God Allah. The light is the work of the God in the process mores. Contemplate the light to let your human self and bodies accept its workings within you, within me, and around us. Contemplate mores, the light to enhance yourselves, to know that you are beyond the light as a spiritual being, and that the light is available to you and me. We must respect the light. That's the tool of the great God. We must understand the superstring theory of quantum physics. It will help you understand the light. Meditating on the light mores will let you know that God within, will let you know yourself. The light is everywhere. The light is everything mores. So a lot of the practice, when I show y'all how we practice our breathing and all of that stuff is connected to connecting ourselves to the great God and Allah. Like, I'll give y'all an analogy. See, the strong energy is in your abdomen. When I talk about you must unravel that kundalini, and when I do a lot of ab workouts, everything comes from the core. So when you place your palms on your abdomen, just below your navel, and pull in that upper chest. Men should have their left inside touching their abdomen and their right palm over their left hand. And women should have their right palm inside and their left palm outside. And if you are standing, bend the knees a bit. And if you are sitting, try to keep your spine up straight and do not cross your legs while you do this method. And while you inhale, you must visualize the white light coming from all around you, penetrating all the pores of your skin. Feel your body into your inner abdomen. And while you exhale, this white energy is condensed into a concentrated ball of light in your inner abdomen. I promise you, in the middle of your body, just below the level of your navel, in this area. Gather the energy by breathing normally, deep and calmly, and take in energy all around you, and concentrate in your inner abdomen. And when you activate the gathering, you must be standing up more and do a few normal breathing and relaxing, bend your knees slightly and start. And as you breathe in, you must imagine the white light that comes from above your head and enter through your head like the white wind, going in a contagious flow to to your lower abdomen. And as you breathe out, the energy stays in your lower abdomen and becomes a ball of light, Moors. Relax, breathe, absorbing from the head. It is a normal reflex to tighten the muscles. Remember, I always talk about tighten the muscles of the abdomen. When every time you walk, you could be doing an ab workout, tighten the abdomen muscles. And the arms, tighten the arms. When you do this for the first time, try doing it with will while keeping your muscles relaxed. So when you tighten them, you can relax your muscles at the same time. You do the same thing with your arms and extend your arms to the sides, placing your palms facing away from you. And inhale energy through the middle of your two palms, leading it down to your lower abdomen. Do it 9 times and try to keep your body relaxed. And what you'll be seeing is man, it's that pentagram. You have your arms out. The head is clear. The arms out. The feet down. The truth about your heart. And I can break all that down, but I got to get out of here, Moors. So like I said, I hope Allah puts it on your heart, Moors, to become students and members and get the books and get the science, because we're going to pick up back on our teachings. And Moors that's not part of our school and temple, and Moors that's not giving donations, when we teach on YouTube, you will just be blocked. I love you all. Islam.